Representative DeAnn Vaught's public journey began right here, taping a video. A mission among female lawmakers to share their personal journey on camera to inspire young Arkansas girls to lead.
It's a horrible thing that you have to go through.
Vaught knew that she would share, for the first time, a secret horror that she'd kept hidden for years.
A lot of kids didn't know that I was being sexually abused and that there was a lot going on. And so all of that adds up.
It was a darkness that kept hold of DeAnn since she was 11 years old.
It was a neighbor.
That is when the abuse began.
And everybody liked this man. So, whenever it happened, you're like, oh, no one's ever going to believe you because he's a church-going, well-liked person in your community.
The abuse continued for 4 years.
So just kind of lovey, and then it escalates from there. You've gone to bed, and you're laying there in your bed and they come in. It just kind of escalates, gets more and more every time you go, or a little bit more intense.
DeAnn never told anyone what was happening.
You have that double-edged sword going on. They're telling you, oh, you're so sweet, yada, yada, but then they're telling you if you tell somebody that he'll make basically life hell.
She kept it inside.
But I felt like it was my fault, so I didn't go tell my parents.
Until years later.
I never told anybody until I got engaged to my husband, and I wanted him to know that I was damaged goods.
Years of holding in her secret out of shame, DeAnn developed an eating disorder.
You lose all that hope of, will someone ever get me out of this?
But her husband encouraged therapy, and after the birth of her own daughters, she got it. 3 years of therapy. And she ultimately forgave her predator, a man who is still alive and lives in her neighborhood to this day.
The only way you can go on and truly live is to forgive. And if you can't let go of it, it continues to control you. And I was tired of it controlling me.
Representative Vaught now uses her platform as a legislator to educate and to talk publicly, to bring out in the open and lessen the stigma of child sexual abuse, to advocate for vulnerable children.
People want to stick their head in the sand and just avoid it at all costs. And because we keep avoiding it, we keep having predators.
That's why I think it's an important topic to talk about. And I truly believe that's why God still has me here, was so I could open up about it, so we could help other kids. It's not like you just get over it. It's something that they have to live with for the rest of their lives.
Which is why Representative DeAnn Vaught is talking to anyone who will listen. It is what she wished she'd done back when she was just 11 years old. DeAnn was sexually abused by a neighbor and family friend. It carried on for nearly 4 years.
You'd go back and tell that person it's not your fault. It's okay to tell somebody. Tell anybody, tell everybody, till somebody listens.
And that, according to Children's Advocacy Centers of Arkansas therapist Caitlin Forcier, says is key. Talk.
Abusers have a really unique way of manipulating their victims. That's why it works for as long as it does.
Last year in Arkansas, 4,434 children were sexually abused, and those numbers reflect only the cases that were reported. 90% of those children knew their offender in some way.
It can be the person sitting next to you at church. It can be the physical therapist seeing your kid. It can be anybody who looks anyway.
Forcier describes what's called grooming, a process by which an offender makes a child and their system comfortable with the abuse that's about to take place.
They're going to gain their trust. They're going to make them like them. They're going to make them respect them, and they're going to likely do the same with their parents so that the parents give them more opportunities to abuse their child.
It's exactly what happened to Representative Vaught. In her case, there were no red flags about her predator.
Even in his church, there was no red flags. Even with his own family, there was no red flags. It'll continue to be something that's done in the dark. We just have to have more people be vocal about it.
Forcier, too, says talk to your children. Make it part of daily conversation.
Is there something going on Is there something that you're not telling me? Is there a secret that you have right now that you feel like you've not been able to share with me? Instead of just asking, were you good? Did you have fun? Ask, did you feel safe? Was there anything that happened that made you feel uncomfortable? The more you have those conversations with your kids, the more likely they are to open up to you when they don't feel safe. This idea that we don't talk about these things, it's not proper to talk about these things. And so in some of that, we've created an environment where predators see opportunity.
For Representative Vaught, it's taken years of healing and acceptance of her own powerful voice.
I never dreamed I would become a face for this and be trying to help little girls or little boys overcome the fear of talking about it to somebody.